They're talking about anxious attachment style a lot here, and I definitely relate to that. So I'll be more than happy to share my healing path of healing my anxious attachment style. Definitely from a spiritual perspective, maybe from a spiritual awakening perspective, because I remember when I was in my 20s, that anxious attachment style was really bad. Okay, there were long periods of time in which I was dating a lot of people. I didn't like being alone. I even remember getting very anxious during the weekends. I didn't like staying at home. I wanted to go out and go to the clubs and meet people. I didn't like being alone, and that got me into trouble because I let people stay with me, and some of them were not good. Some of them were toxic, and they escalated into toxic situations, which I will not elaborate. But healing it was very interesting because when you're healing an anxious attachment style, you're also healing, I think, probably also a level of codependency as the truck goes by. And that took a lot to shake out because I was attracting people with a lot of emotional problems. This was also an aspect of who I was as a healer. You know, the archetype of the wounded healer, wanting to save people, wanting to heal people. But Vortex Healing helped to heal these core wounds, and that's when the healing started to shake me loose on the issue of anxious attachment, and I was able to heal my negative pattern of attracting people with a lot of who had a lot of trauma, and that was like strengthening a new muscle. I did some deep healing about it, and you'd think the expectation is that you hope when you do healing on the issue of negative pattern, the negative pattern stops. No. You place investment in wanting to heal negative pattern, the negative pattern reveals itself in a more speeded up way because you're confronting it, okay? And to confront a negative pattern, especially from a place of anxious attachment, you have to strengthen a muscle that you are not used to, and that is strengthening a healthy boundary muscle that says, no, I will not let you in. And that's why the pattern sort of accelerated, because that's what it was teaching me now. Okay, I attract a person who I thought was not good for me. No, I will not let you in. I would attract another person. Not getting the lesson yet, Simon. So that was it. That was sort of like the strengthening the muscle until that boundary that says no, I will not let you in, was set. And then that went well for a while. But then I found myself in my sacred solitude. And that was a very interesting place because for a while, I still wanted to date. It was the summer of 2009 that I had the summer of 2009 that I was having a series of very bad dating experiences. And by the time 2010 came around, that's when everything changed. My lovely experience of wanting passion and wanting to meet people was just not there, so I had to learn to be more with myself, to be alone. And then it was sort of like my ego. This was the awakening part. It was sort of like my ego still wanting to attach myself to something, and my spirit going, nope, that's not going to happen. So you're just going to keep reaching out until you realize there's nothing else to reach out to. And then finally it happened with one person that I had feelings for, and they pushed me away as quickly as they let me in, and I'm like, okay, that's it, I'm done. And I could feel it. I could feel the surrender to it, surrendering control to it. I got off the OkCupid app. That was the only app that I trusted at the time. This was a while ago. And in this place of sacred solitude, I am now being held by the divine in a very interesting way, because there are times in which I'm still feeling very anxious. There are so many things around me that is out of my control. I feel intuitively that it is meant for my spiritual path to be alone at this time. But of course I get restless, and maybe I do desire to be with people, and why aren't things happening, or just things like that. But the surrender is now there, a part of that ego that was taken away is there, and you can feel it. You can feel the universe sort of like holding you. A part of you still wants to be in control, but no, the universe is going, no, Simon, I'm holding you. And I want you to focus on this. I want you to focus that I am holding you. I don't want you to try and control anything. I don't want you to try and find ways to try and change your life in a way that makes you feel out of control. I know things are going against your expectations, all these things causing me stress, and the universe at this time is saying, understand that I'm holding you. Understand that this is now officially a direct connection with me, a direct relationship with me. That anxious, codependent place was distracting me. It was a very bad wound within myself. I was running away from this fear, running away from not being worthy of love, or of that I wasn't worthy of love, that I had to chase it, and just things like that. But this is what solitude is doing, is saying, I am teaching you to go beyond your ego, go beyond your control, go beyond your expectations, and I hold you here. And for someone with an anxious attachment style, I still get anxious, but I can now feel that support. And that's why sometimes the universe lets you be alone for a while. To understand that surrender, to understand that letting go of control, the letting go of your ego, and just letting the universe hold you. And that's a difficult place to be, because it's like you're in the sky and there's no ground. It's a very scary place to be. Like you're falling in the sky, but there's no ground. And what do? You have to surrender to it. You surrender all your fears and all your controls. That's what this time is. And that's what I keep doing. Just keep surrendering up that fear, all that old anxious attachment wounds. That's where most people find themselves when they're on the spiritual path of awakening.